And away we go. One of the great rivalries in all of sports is John Smoltz will deliver our first pitch of the game, presented by Domino's. And the first pitch is taken for a ball by Ryan Theriot, the shortstop, who is hitting .289 with 7 home runs and 52 RBIs. Fans still filing in. A lot of partying going on in downtown St. Louis, as you might imagine. A lot of the Cub fans have made their way to St. Louis, and John Smoltz is our Marshall Wireless starter.
Well, John Smoltz making his 5th start since joining the Cardinals. 1-1 ERA, decent. As this future Hall of Famer, he's 15-5 lifetime against the Cubbies. But it's amazing. His last win versus Chicago was April 5th, 1997.
97.
97. Wow.
1-2 pitch, little check swing. And no. Well, these fans are into it, aren't they?
They sure are. They don't like Mark Carlson's appeal right there. As he said, Theriot did not go around. Anytime you see from this angle, it always looks like he goes through the zone. And once again, it looks the same, doesn't
it? Yes, it does. About to say, and it still looks that way. Here's a 2-2 pitch. There's that slider. It looks sharp. The first batter of the game, and a strikeout of Theriot. A look at Lou Pinella's lineup. His club is 75-70. Theriot, Fukudome, and Lee. Ramirez, Hoffpauir, Soto, Baker, Scales, and the pitcher Ted Lilly. So Theriot retired. First out in this ball game, first strikeout for Smoltz, and it brings in Kosuke Fukudome. Both years that he's played now in the major leagues over here in the United States with the Cubs, he's gotten off to quick starts, and he lines that one in the left center field. Extra bases coming up for Fukudome. And it's a 1-out double. Well, those lefties have given Smoltz fits here in 2009. That has been one of the problems that he has had, as left-handed hitters come in hitting .375 against him. Holiday, Rasmus, and Ludwig in the outfield. DeRosa, Ryan, Lugo, and Pujols along the infield. And the battery tonight, John Smoltz and Yadier Molina. We talk about hot hitters in the game of baseball. The 2 first basemen tonight swinging the hottest bats in the National League Central, and Derek Lee and Albert Pujols.
Derek Lee over 100 RBIs again. And he really has made a charge the second half.
We're wondering at the time when we last saw them what was happening with Derek Lee, but he has answered the critics, and he's come back in a big way with 33 home runs, 102 driven in, and hitting above 300.
9 home runs last 19 games. He had a 9-game hitting streak snapped yesterday with an 0-for-4.
And time is called by Molina. Pointed out there by the home plate umpire. The Cardinals actually lead the season series this year 8-5 over the Cubs, and the ERA is about a run better than the Chicago ERA. There's that breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-2.
John Smoltz, you mentioned that lefties have given him fits, and I think that's kind of a byproduct of a little mechanical flaw, really not getting the ball inside to left-handed batters as much as possible. But he has that devastating slider when he has a righty up there.
Good block by Yadier Molina. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Derek Lee, we mentioned 2 times now, has gone over the century mark in RBIs, and really the second half has done amazing work, but he's never really had a lot of success against John Smoltz, and you have to believe that slider and split finger have given him fits.
The Cubs 9-3 in their last 12 games against the Central Division, and yet the Cardinals' magic number down to 8. This is lined into right center field, could be trouble. Diving for it, can't come up with it. Colby Rasmus, that goes to the wall. Fukudome will score, and Derek Lee has an RBI double, and it's 1-0 Chicago here in the first. Great effort out there by Rasmus, came up just a bit short. And Derek Lee puts the Cubs on top 1-0.
Well, you really appreciate a guy, especially a young player like Kobe, not afraid to leave his feet and dive for them. Slider is up a little bit, just misses it, just beyond his reach. Ludwig backs it up, and by missing it, it's an automatic double. It would have been tough not to, or just to hold him to a single, even if he played it conservatively. But in this case, he gives you a supreme effort, just comes up a little empty.
And here is Aramis Ramirez, and Al, it's been a short season for him because of that shoulder.
But boy, he has been productive. 58 RBIs for the perennial 100 RBI man. Six times he's done that wearing the Cub uniform.
And an 0-1 pitch. Foul back, 0-2. He had Lee at 0-2 as well. Ramirez is 4 back now of Hack Wilson, the all-time leaders in home runs in Cubs history. Ramirez at 186, Wilson at 190. And you see the most career RBIs against St. Louis, the active leaders, Berkman and then Ramirez. No surprise there. The 0-2 pitch. Back-to-back doubles, 1-0 Chicago.
Beautiful day, gorgeous night here, and this town is going to be hopping with the Cubbies in town.
So only game number 73 tonight for the third baseman of the Cubs. And he rips it into left center field. Here comes another extra base hit. 2-0 Chicago. 3 doubles in a row, and it's 2-0 Cubbies.
Once again, you know, if you get to outstanding starting pitching, you usually want to do it in the first inning before they settle down, and it's been the trademark with Smoltz. He's had some problems in the first inning, but he's just not executing pitches. His pitches are not getting, he's getting strike 2, but not finishing off as he's leaving the ball in the middle of the plate on those breaking pitches that are supposed to be down and away.
And now the Cardinals facing a very tough lefty, and lefty being the key word there. The Cardinals, it just seems like they always struggle against the lefties, and Ted Lilly's one of the better ones.
He absolutely is. He's won the most games in the National League the last 3 years, one more than Adam Wainwright.
I've asked you this before, but for folks that haven't tuned into every game, why has Smoltz struggled with those lefties? Because they're hitting close to 400 against him.
I think it's and that he's not getting the ball in on them. That slider, running that slider in, he's leaving it in the middle of the plate. You know, split finger, maybe he just doesn't have command of that. You know, leaving the ball out over the plate where traditionally, you know, the Atlanta Braves tutored pitchers, you know, are great on down and away. But if you catch too much of the plate, these guys are going to hit you.
This is
right
pop
there.
Power, and he pulls it foul.
You know, even there is a pitch that's up and in the middle of the plate. He wants this slider, but you see where that's just sitting in the middle of the plate spinning. And it may be a guy that you would want to think about, and he just did. He just moved to the first base side of the rubber. He had been on the third base side of the rubber. That will help him get further inside.
1-2 pitch. Better pitch that time.
Better execution. But he'd been pitching on the third base side of the rubber. Right before that pitch, he moved to the first base side. That's just you don't need somebody to take. Now he's going back to the third base side. Let's see if it's because he wants to throw outside.
It's interesting that you bring that up and can pick it up. If we see that up here, certainly the batters, the hitters are going to pick up on that very quickly.
Sure. And, you know, he just didn't have the command, but that may be one of those little simple things. Like, okay, if he's going to throw a slider, he's going to the first base side. If he's going to throw the splitter or fastball away, he goes to the third base side. It's you know, he's been around too long and had way too much success, and it may be just something foreign to him, so he's gone back to the third base side.
And a 3-2 pitch.
And he went away.
Pulled foul.
Trying to backdoor the slider.
We still don't know the immediate future of John Smoltz if the Cardinals get into postseason play. And it seemed to be a foregone conclusion that he would be in the bullpen, but that's not really the same story that we hear every day. It changes, it seems like.
Well, based on what, you know, even as good as he pitched.
There's a grounder hit to Pujols, and he'll underhand to Smoltz for the out.
As good as he has pitched, he hasn't, in my mind, pitched well enough to be in that rotation. He's not going deep enough.
It brings it Giovanni Soto, as he has shown flashes of brilliance since he's come over to St. Louis, and then other times he's been roughed up.
And that's why, you know, it's in the Cardinals' best interest. You have Wainwright and Carpenter, you know, get Pinheiro, who has been very, very solid. All three of them lost their last time out, but get him back on track, and that's your third starter. And you know, so it's really kind of, if Loesch can regain his form, which he hasn't had all year or since his first three starts, get him back on track, then maybe you have your fourth man. But you know, Loesch has really had a lost season.
Soto only had 6 base hits in the entire month of August, but he started out September hitting .367, 5 doubles, couple of home runs. He's 26th, reigning National League Rookie of the Year. This is 9th season in the Cubs organization. 1-0 pitch.
It's like a slider there, but getting up underneath it. And what happened about establishing your fastball? First time through the order, be able to spot it. There's a lot of sliders going out there, and just common sense, you throw so many, you're going to hang a few.
Soto 12 RBIs in his last 7 games.
Slider.
The 2-0 pitch.
Good one.
Cubs have been dealing with injuries all season long, and that includes Soto.
Look at the bite on this one, and you see how it starts out away and then breaks completely off the plate, but good tilt. Fastball away and totally inside, missing location.
3-1. Soto missed a month with a left oblique strain.
Now remember, John Smoltz, since he's been here, has been unbelievable. Was it 29 strikeouts to 1 base on ball? Didn't want the fastball away. He wants the slider.
Pitch number 26 in this inning, and it's popped out. So the Cubs will get 2 here at the top of the first as Lugo puts it away, and the Cardinals will face Ted Lilly. 3 doubles in a row and a 2-0 lead. Series 2-0 after a half inning of play, and Cubs and Cardinals, team scoring first, has won 12 of the 13 meetings, and the Cubs actually have the second best record in baseball when they score first at 51-16. Lugo, Rasmus, and Pujols, Holiday, Ludwig, DeRosa, Molina, Ryan, and Smoltz are just one lefty in there, and that's Colby Rasmus. And they will face 33-year-old Ted Lilly. He's our Marshall Wireless starter.
He's won 10 or more games in each of his last 7 seasons, and he's won 44 games since signing his contract with the Cubs. And he has 1 more win than Adam Wainwright during that time, and his 59 wins since the start of the 06 season ranks 3rd among Major League Southpaws. Only CC Sabathia and Santana have more.
Lugo is hitting .290 with a couple of home runs and 10 RBIs. 0-1 pitch to him. Ted Lilly, of course, an all-star this year. Booed by the folks here in St. Louis, and he took it all in stride.
Oh yeah, that was a respectful acknowledgement that brings a little laughter to players when they go into an enemy stadium and get applauded that way or get acknowledged.
Lugo pulls it foul, and this is why you play 162. The Cubs were the perennial pick by most people, the favorite to win this division. The experts and the writers, but it has not turned out that way. The Cardinals, I won't say they've come out of nowhere, but most people didn't expect this. And of course, the Cardinals' surge in the Central coincides with the trades that they made.
Well, that's it. I mean, Lou Piniella, if you go into the season on paper, Tony would be the first one to tell you they had a superior ball club on paper. They've been beset by injuries, and then the Cardinals did a wonderful job of sticking around.
That pitch was up but pulled foul.
Sticking around until they got the reinforcements, and then they took off from there. But very disappointing season for the Cubs, and they still, I wouldn't want to bet on them or against them in this 3-game series. This is going to be really a emotionally charged series that'll be good tune-up for what we hope is a postseason appearance.
See that crowd, it is big tonight. 1-2 pitch. Lugo pulls it foul again. Ted Lilly has made one start at Busch Stadium this year. Went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits. And he's stingy against both lefties and righties. Lefties hitting .223 against him, and the righties not much better, .237.
And I'm talking to Larry Rothschild, their pitching coach, and he agreed that he is their most consistent starter. He can win when he throws hard, and he win when he throws soft.
Inside to Lugo. You mentioned an emotion charged and fulfilled weekend for some of these fans. How about for a player like Mark DeRosa, who was on the other side last year wearing that Chicago uniform and now part of this rivalry with the Cardinals?
Well, I think he's going to have fun with it, and disappointed that he was injured last meetings. Good to see Mark, good to see him in the lineup. He's got a lot of close friends on the other side, but we all know that, and many people, and I'm one, thought that in the offseason when they got rid of Mark DeRosa, they lost a big portion of their ball club.
You said that at the time before even he arrived in St. Louis.
Yes, and when he went to Cleveland, we said that, and especially when Ramirez went down, Lou Piniella didn't have a third baseman to replace him. And then Casey McGee, who they let go in the off seasons, and Milwaukee picked him up, one of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. A lot of things they wish they had him back, I believe.
3-2 pitch. And Lugo hits it to the right side. Lee will give it a look. It's out of play. How about this at bat to start this game for Julio Lugo? This is 9 pitches now in this at bat. That's how you start things off.
Absolutely. People think you're crazy, but when you have a 10-pitch at bat, whether you get on base or not, you've done your job. People say, well, how can you say that? Well, that's reality.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. And Lugo pulls it foul, and these fans know what's going on. They appreciate it. And the reality is, most of these guys only last 90 to 100 pitches. Well, he got 10 out of the way with one batter.
That's exactly right. And, you almost guarantee that he's going to, I'm not saying he will get to Smoltz's number, but you get that pitch count out, you knock out a starter, you get into their bullpen as quick as possible. That's a good formula for winning.
The 3-2 pitch, and Lugo hits it to the right side again, and we'll do it again. It's out of play. He's battling. And, if you're Lugo too, you've probably seen more pitches. What I mean by that, more variations of the pitches than Ted Lilly would like.
Well, you always talk about the fact that if you go up there swinging at the first pitch, you really deny yourself an opportunity to get a mistake pitch. If you're up there on the 12th pitch, you've probably already seen a mistake or two. You still have to kind of center the ball.
And Lugo hits it out to deep left field. And the catch is made. Bobby Scales takes the extra base hit away from Lugo, and a terrific at bat to start the game for the Cardinals.
Absolutely. He finally got a pitch that he did center and hit a line drive. But old Abner put those men out there for defensive purposes on top of it.
So Scales, who we just saw, and Fukudome and Hoffbauer. No Milton Bradley tonight. Ramirez, Terrio, Baker, and Lee. And the battery is Lilly and Giovanni Soto. Milton Bradley left their most recent game after walking and then leaving with a sore knee. They say he gets booed every time he comes to the plate when he touches the baseball. He's not endeared himself to the faithful at Wrigley.
No, and nor the media. So, and they can kind of make things a little tough on you. Interesting that Kobe gets the shot here tonight, and I think Tony's starting to build his thought process of how he would do a postseason roster, and I think in many ways he likes the fact that Kobe's starting and Ankiel coming off the bench.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Rasmus hits it sharply to a former Gold Glover and Derek Lee. Lilly is there. And a fine play made by Derek Lee. That's two good defensive plays by Ted Lilly.
That's right. So these Cubs have come to play. They're still mathematically in it, and they want to do everything they can to not see any kind of mini celebrations while they're in town.
Last 17 games, 19 driven in for Albert Pujols to go along with 6 home runs and a .452 average. And overall, you see the numbers: .333, closing in on his first 50 home run campaign, and he's driven in 127.
Every meaningful statistic, for a hitter, Albert is either leading or right there amongst the leaders, usually in about the second or third place, and leading in so many of the important, like first in the major leagues in home runs, runs, and RBIs. And that's in the major leagues.
And here comes a 1-0 pitch to Pujols. Lifted out to left center. It's well hit, and that's caught. Kosuke Fukudome near the track, and he pulls that one in. The defense bailing out Ted Lilly here in the first. And many video providers in our Cardinals viewing area will offer this game on pay-per-view, $29.95. So don't miss the action. It was Bowling Green last weekend, an exciting game. Furman tomorrow, and you can see it only on pay-per-view. You can access your digital program guide or call your pay-per-view provider to order.
I'm going to do that because you're going to be broadcasting that game.
Thank you, Al. We had a lot of fun last weekend as the first pitch was a strike to Jeff Baker. It turned out to be a heck of a game. They had over 65,000, and the atmosphere was just nuts in the second half at Faurot Field. So we're anticipating that again tomorrow. No balls and 2 strikes here on Baker, who is the second baseman. There's been some changes this year for Lou Piniella, one of the guys that they thought might be able to fill in and play every day, if not be a real good bench player like he was in St. Louis. Aaron Miles.
Aaron has spent 2 stints on the disabled list for Lou Piniella and
left that one hanging, didn't he?
Yep.
Right now, a lot of sliders early on in this game for Smoltz.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes I saw that John was shaking off and calling that pitch, but started out with a fastball, then 3 straight sliders, and like I said, when you throw that many, you're going to hang a few, and he hung one, and Baker got the base hit.
One of the real good stories this year for the Cubs is this guy, Bobby Scales, and all the years that he spent in the minor leagues, and finally getting a chance to play a little bit here in the major leagues.
Drafted by San Diego back in '99. He's 31 years of age now. Bounced around quite a bit.
That's another slider there to Scales. Scales is the 8th place hitter, and Lilly's on deck.
You know, it's a lot of times you like to establish that fastball and kind of have your slider, and in his case, he has a very devastating split finger pitch. Fastball there. Got that one inside. We'll kind of watch and see if he moves around on the rubber again. His set foot now is on the third base side. He's on the 1-1 count. Will he pitch away, or will he try and get inside?
And instead of check over with Baker at first. 3 consecutive doubles in the top of the first for Chicago. Fukudome, Lee, and Ramirez. They lead it 2-0. That's lifted the other way and should be caught. Holiday is there to make the catch. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals at STLCardinals.com for the largest selection of authentic postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your playoff gear straight from the source. STLCardinals.com. Shop right now. Here's Ted Lilly, who's hitting .094, no home runs, and he's driven in 2. So DeRosa, the third baseman, moves in, anticipating the bunt here. And it's bunted foul. 10 major league seasons now for Ted Lilly.
A lot of people really question when he signed originally with the Cubs, but that has become a very good signing.
Strike 2.
Did spend a little time on the disabled list this year, did Lilly, and he's the kind of guy, you know, that he can win when he doesn't have his best stuff. He's probably their most consistent starter. Doesn't have his best stuff in order to win.
And this is outside. You know, one of the guys we haven't even mentioned yet that the Cubs no longer have with him, that's really had a great year with the Colorado Rockies, and that's Jason Marquis. That's been another big loss for this team.
Yeah, and Jason's kind of stuck on his win total right now, but when you think that they had to get rid of, remember the team was up for sale, and they had to get rid of DeRosa and Marquis in order to pay Milton Bradley. I think everyone around Chicago, the Cubs nation, says that was a mistake.
1-2 pitch. Now 2-2.
John's getting a little frustrated with himself.
When you've been so good for so long, and then sometimes you go out there and you're not as sharp as you used to be, it's got to be so frustrating.
Well, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's got tremendous pride, and he still has the desire to pitch and wants to add to his resume, particularly in postseason, you know, where he's been highly successful. I was saying all these sliders, but there's been several times where it's John Smoltz wanting to throw that pitch. Fastball.
And a 3-2. Runner goes, and the bunt is down, and Smoltz has got it. Over to Albert. There's 2 outs. So 1-3 on the sacrifice. Remember, you can place a deposit on 2010 season tickets and lock-in guaranteed tickets for the 09 postseason. That's right. For more information, visit STLCardinals.com/season or call this number, area code 314-345-9500.
All right, over.
So Lilly gets the sacrifice and the bunt down, and top of the lineup, Ryan Theriot. That pitch was up but a strike. Theriot struck out to start the game. Talk about the Cardinals pitching is lined up for this weekend. Well, from the Cubs perspective, it's pretty good too. Dempster tomorrow, Zambrano Sunday night. Cardinals have Carpenter tomorrow and Wainwright Sunday night. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good pitch inside, just trying to keep him honest as Smoltz still trying to find his release point. And Theriot, 27 of his 52 RBIs have come with 2 outs. You don't want to give Lilly too many runs. He has a tremendous 1-loss record when he gets 4 runs or more.
A gap into left center field. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs and a runner at second base. What a difference it must be, Al, when you're Yadier Molina, and he's now a veteran. When you get shook off by a younger pitcher, that's one thing. To get, you know, your signs are down there, and to get shook off by John Smoltz, it's another thing.
Yeah, and it's something where they're still trying to get together and figure out what John likes to do in certain situations, what counts. He likes certain pitches.
2-2.
Benjamin Theriot, who's got all these RBIs with 2 outs, is actually hitting .355 with runners in scoring position in 2 outs.
Little check swing, did not go. So the count is full.
Little things like that, John Smoltz comes, not that he needs to, but earlier in his career when he was so dominant, he always would get that check swing call on his side.
Theriot, the 29-year-old, has spent his entire professional career with the Cubs, drafted in the 3rd round of 2001. And a 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. Just got a piece. Now he's one of the guys that has played a bunch this year. Appeared in 141 of the 146 that they played, including tonight. You think about he and Derek Lee, 2 guys that have played an awful lot this season, but everywhere, up and down their lineup, their bullpen, their starting rotation, they've had injuries, but that is part of the game.
He's missed just 5 games this season. Another strikeout.
So 2 tonight for Smoltz, both of Ryan Theriot. Holiday, Ludwig, and DeRosa coming up. Look at our keys to the game presented by Toyota. At home, a record of 8-1. On the road, the ERA, look at that, close to 5, and a record of 4-7. ERA at home under 2, and he gets Matt Holliday to start the bottom of the second.
14 games over 500 at home and 9 games under 500 on the road. There's my buddy Ron Santo, and good to see him back in the booth. Talk to Ronnie, and I won't tell the Cub fans what he said about your ball club.
Pat Hughes, his partner on the left.
And you got to plug Pat's fine work.
Baseball Voices. He has a number of CDs of the top broadcasters ever in baseball history, and one that also includes the great Jack Buck. BaseballVoices.com. If you'd like to order a CD. Of course, Christmas not too far away.
That's right.
He's done great work. He's got Bob Uecker. He's got Jack Buck.
Hey,
number of broadcasters.
It's the holiday season right now.
There you go, Al. That was brutal, but we'll work with it. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Matt Holliday.
It was just brutal enough that you figured it out. Huh?
Yes, yes.
What are you going to do the next 10 years
with you?
We'll keep our fingers crossed so we get that opportunity.
We actually make it that far.
It's pushing,
sketchy.
Pushing me. My life, I mean.
1-2 pitch at Holliday. A swing and a miss, and that's 4 up and 4 down for Ted Lilly. He was helped out, though, in that first inning. A very good defense, and all 3 hitters that he saw in the first.
All hit the ball hard and find defensive plays behind them.
And here is Ludwig, who's hitting .272. 11 RBIs away from 100. Cardinals start playing tonight. 9-game lead in front of Chicago.
A lot of little things like that. You still, it's not playing selfish. It's just, it's playing for goals, playing for different things. And you can't tell me if he gets to 100, it won't help this team win.
And you can't tell me either, Alan. You would know that for teams that are out of a race, and the Cardinals certainly aren't there yet because they're going to go to postseason play. But for other teams, and I can't even put the Cubs in that category, they're still alive, but Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the players on those teams, spoiler roll, and then individually to try to get yourself motivated to come to the ballpark, you've got to give yourself some type of goals to try to get to it.
Yeah, you got to, but you try and trick yourself, and one of the ways is to sit there and say, well, those Cardinals, and I don't like them. They've won too many times, so let's knock them off. Let's keep them from getting to the promised land.
Here's a 1-2. I spoke with Lou Brock today, and he said one of the toughest things that he had to go through in his career, 1969, and facing the Mets when they had a chance to clinch against the Cardinals. He said you just didn't even want to talk to the other team. You didn't want to see them celebrate. As Ludwig hits it into shallow right, that'll be caught. 5 up and 5 down.
That's one of those 1969. A lot of people incorrectly say that the Cubs, choked down the stretch. I hate to ever use that word associated with sports, but that was not the case. It's just they played pretty good baseball down the stretch. It was just that the Mets got even hotter.
And with 2 outs, here's Mark DeRosa. A strike at the knees. Nice round of applause for DeRosa. One ball, 1 strike. Mark DeRosa visiting with tonight's starter, Ted Lilly. I mean, think about that, where a guy is talking to the opposing team starter before the game.
Well, Bob Gibson is here tonight, and I'll guarantee you, Bob Gibson didn't talk to any opposing teams. He didn't talk to any opposing hitters, but we all know it's changed.
And a 1-2 pitch. Talking to a gentleman that visited with Bob about his new book the other day, and Bob was saying that people thought he was so intimidating. He said at the age of 18, I had glasses. No one realized it. I was always squinting, looking at the hitter. They thought I was trying to be intimidating. He said, I wasn't trying to be intimidating. I got intimidating after I retired. And then I found out all these guys were scared of me.
You could get in trouble saying somebody lied.
Now that was Bob's words.
But he's lying.
That's Bob. Now, you played with him. I've seen the highlights and talked to everybody else who says he was intimidating.
Oh, no doubt about it. And boy, was he fun to watch pitch.
2-2 is hit into right. Another fly ball. Long way to go. And the catch made by Hoffauer. We'll visit with new Blues analyst Darren Pang coming up. With Angus third pounders. Get a third pound of pure Angus beef loaded up with premium toppings for just $3.99. 3 delicious varieties to choose from: deluxe, bacon and cheese, mushroom, and Swiss. Time to break out the good china and sit up straight.
I'm hungry.
Darren Pang, that's your voice. What's going on?
Doing very well, Dan.
Welcome to St. Louis.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great city. I am invigorated just being here, and we're living downtown and just having a blast.
Former Hawk.
Yep.
Did I have to bring
very
that
briefly
up?
Oh yeah, you're allowed to bring that up. Absolutely.
Now, you're going to tell me you're a Cubs fan too. Remember, this is
no, I was
Cardinal
actually.
TV.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Cardinal fan.
Okay, good.
There's no question about that now.
Darren Pang will be with us. Over 70 games on Fox Sports Midwest of St. Louis Blues hockey. And, of course, Hall of Famer Bernie Federko will be with us. John Kelly, you mentioned that you're living downtown. You're on Washington Avenue. You and your wife are living there. So the kids are out of the house, and you're living downtown.
Yeah,
Not a bad deal.
It's been fantastic. And I've always heard, because we all know each other, the alumni, and the amount of calls that I got from alumni, and obviously knowing everybody here, and John Davidson and Doug Armstrong and the ownership group. But just I think just seeing this city from that perspective. I mean, you know, walking to here, walking to the rink, being downtown and seeing the Central West End. I've covered a lot of miles with my wife, and we've gotten around this city, and I am just loving every minute of it.
2-2 here on Kosuke Fukudome, and of course the Blues fire up very, very shortly. They're going to do it overseas. They're going to be in Sweden. You're going to be part of that action, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to split that broadcast with Detroit, and actually Bernie's going to go over to Detroit and then be in the studio there, and then we're off and running. 2 games there, so one will be on nationally, and one will be here. And how many? I mean, we're doing more games on HD than ever before.
Right.
And so I got to fix my hair up. I got to make sure that it looks good, and we're ready to go.
Well, plenty of powder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lots.
Don't worry, lots of makeup for you.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a little trouble.
I know you are.
All right, good.
It's all good.
Darren Pang with us, the new Blues analyst, and working with John Kelly and Bernie Federko, and of course, again, over 70 games exclusively on Fox Sports Midwest. Now, when you look at this Blues team from afar, and now you're there every day at practice, but the last couple of years, some growing pains along the way, but this year, I can't remember the excitement being this high for this team.
Me neither. I mean, just going to every practice and then seeing the scrimmages and seeing the fans show up. The first preseason game, the win against Minnesota, there was a crescendo in anticipation for a preseason game that I haven't heard in a long time. You know, just every hit, just people anticipating what was going on, and expectations are high. But just being around the players and knowing that over 20 of them spent the summer here training, you know that they're prepared for what's at hand. It's not like they're going to be disappointed. They know what's at stake and how high the expectations are internally, and obviously with them and with the fans externally.
Now, you know all about the great rivalry between Chicago, St. Louis, the Hawks and the Blues. What comes to mind when you think about your time as a visiting player at the old arena?
Loved the old arena. Loved it. Loved going there. Do you remember that series that our coaches got locked into the old arena and they had to use the forklift to get them out?
Yes.
Well, we thought it was a ploy that they were not going to go on the bench because they were sour at us and that was going to fire us up. We didn't know that they were locked into the old arena. That was classic stuff. But I think all along, I mean, in my 20 years of broadcasting, you get to see rivalries. In my years in Chicago that I was fortunate enough to play 3 years, you know the rivalry with Detroit and with Minnesota at the time, and obviously with St. Louis, and that's what makes this game great. So I'm all for it, and I don't mind talking about my past because I think it's been more as a broadcaster and coming here to this city with so many great broadcasters and joining the broadcast team that I'm joining in the ownership team. And I grew up idolizing JD, and he was a big reason why I became a broadcaster. So there's a lot. That's a big figure looking over you, too, you know, a big boy. You got to make sure you got all your information, you know. So I'm really, really excited about it, Dan.
1 ball and 2 strikes here on Derek Lee. And that's taken for a ball. And there it is, preseason hockey, Colorado tonight. First intermission, and the Blues lead 3-0. Just how good can this team be, you think?
Well, I think that their top, when you look at the top 12 forwards, you can basically get offense from any one of them, you know, including Steen and Jay McClement and B.J. Crombeen, who might be penciled in as a fourth line. And that's a heck of a fourth line if that's a fourth line. The depth at the forward position is outstanding, and Eric Johnson looks terrific. Alex Pietrangelo looks very, very strong, and I like Daryl Sador so far. He's on an unrestricted, you know, he's a free agent guy, but he's looked very, very good out there. So, you know, and then it's Mason and Ty Conklin. As everybody knows, you need your goaltenders to be not brilliant every night, but they have to make the saves you're supposed to make.
That catch made by Julio Lugo, speaking of saves, as he goes out to shallow right to make the play. I've been trying to tell people that I cannot wait to see Eric Johnson play. I talked to him last week. He said at one point he was up to 250 pounds, and now he's playing roughly around 235, 237. But
that's 100 more than me.
The thing I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, so the one thing that stood out to me, though, is that he said he's faster and he's quicker on his skates. So straight line, he said he's faster, rink, you know, end to rink to the other end, and then he said his first step is quicker than it's ever been.
And that's impressive, because I also tore an MCL and ACL like he did. And I know that training's different now, and the training staff of the Blues are outstanding. But it's the confidence to make plays when you're holding on to puck, to see the play develop. And I know that he's going to struggle a little bit with that, and then he's going to go on a real high, and then he's maybe going to go on a little bit of a low. But I think overall he's got the right attitude.
Ramirez pops it up. Another chance for Lugo. He'll call for it, and he's got it for the second out.
The first baseball game I ever went to was at Jerry Park in Montreal. I watched the Expos.
Is that right?
I brought a red glove, and I thought I was going to catch a whole bunch because I was a goalie, and I didn't catch one ball coming my way. Now, Jerry Park, I mean, that's a long time ago.
That's well before Olympic Stadium.
Rusty Staub.
Now I got to ask you, when you were there, was it April, or was it in the middle of the summer? Or middle of the summer. It's beautiful in Montreal.
It was summer, yeah, because I lived in Ottawa, so it was beautiful. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, it actually, I can't believe the weather.
I was about to say, you have moved at the right time.
Man.
Don't get used to it, though.
No.
That's the only thing I can tell you. Don't get used to this weather. It'll be hot next summer. You can guarantee that. Now, apparently, Dan Hyatt is telling me that 19 years ago, Monday, Darren Pang had his career end with a knee injury.
Well,
does that sound like 19 years ago for you?
Yep, that was exactly right. That's why when I tell people, don't get too excited about me wearing a Blackhawk jersey. I only had 27 wins.
That's lifted into center field. You going to stick around one more inning?
Whatever you'd like.
All right, Darren Pang is with us. John Smoltz is through 3, and it's 2-0. Chicago on top. West is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the Losers Slots. And the new third-pound Angus burgers are here. Try one for yourself today, and it's only at McDonald's. Absolutely gorgeous night. As you see John Smoltz there with Dave Duncan. A little bit of frustration there for the future Hall of Famer. And Dave Duncan maybe showing a little bit of the mechanics over there of him flying open. And that pitch is taken for a ball to Yadier Molina from Ted Lilly. So here's that conversation again. Smoltz had a rough first inning. He just joined us. He's given up 4 hits and a couple of runs.
Looks like a golfer going over. See the way he's talking about that? I mean, I'm not a pitcher, but you see golf coaches talk a lot about that, coming over the top like that.
A lot of times you
see around.
Point to their front shoulder if it flies open. A lot of pitches stay flat, and that pitch was popped up by Molina to Jeff Baker. Darren Pang is with us. Excuse me, Darren. And one of the guys I think that is another big storyline with the St. Louis Blues, no doubt, is Paul Correa. He's walking into the final year of his contract, and big things are expected from him.
Yeah, big things from a little guy, and he's been flying, absolutely flying. He's in obviously he's in tremendous shape, but I actually, because I've seen him on such a limited basis because of his injuries, forgot how darn good he was.
Yeah.
You know, and then watched him fly around in practice. And I know the first game, you know, maybe he and Brad Boyes got a little fancy and a couple of drop passes here or there. But at the end of the day, he's just a creative guy that backs off everybody. So hopefully Paul Correa, knock on wood, that he can stay healthy for a full season and really show everybody what kind of powerful winger that he is in the NHL.
And for folks that don't know, you were doing the Phoenix Coyotes last couple of years, so you would come through St. Louis a couple of times, and you would see the crowds a few years ago down.
Yes.
And that is not going to be the case this year, is it?
No, this reminds me of old-time St. Louis Blues. The pride is back, the fans are back, the passion is back, and I think it's because of what John Davidson and the ownership group have done. There's a relationship there that you can feel that relationship. And even as I walk around the streets, and that'd be a strike.
That is. That's a swing and a miss. That's a strike in this game.
Yeah, and that's what basically my goaltending career.
The excitement is there,
and that's what's so invigorating. But I think the standard is set, and the standard's all about winning, and it's not just winning, it's about winning the Stanley Cup. And I was with John Davidson last night at Deerdorf and Hart's in a little get together. It was real nice. Yep. And he said, we're not afraid to say Stanley Cup, and it's great to hear that, because that's what the goal is of the organization, is to win the Stanley Cup, and why wouldn't it be?
Now, are the Blues getting to a point, in your opinion, I'm going to put you on the spot here, where they're getting to that level of having so many prospects now to take that next step, maybe a deal a couple and say, all right, that prize chip is out there, a veteran that we need to fill this gap or that gap?
Yeah, Dan, I think every organization has to go through that, and those decisions are hard decisions because you don't want to give up a young asset that you've paid, you've developed, you've drafted. But there, as JD said last night, he said there will come a time and a place where that will happen. And it's not right now. But when you talk about me or any other broadcaster coming in from other teams, the young players on the St. Louis Blues have always excited. Yeah, I mean, always excited. TJ Oshie gets me out of my seat.
He's awesome,
and that's why I was on TSN in Canada last year in the playoffs, and I picked St. Louis to beat Vancouver, and it was because of basically the presence of the young players and the way David Backes was playing, and Andy McDonald coming off that injury, and even without Paul Correa, I really felt that, and with a couple of power play goals here or there, that series was St. Louis's series.
So that gives us a little, idea about your expertise as the Blues were swept in 4.
Yep.
And
all one-goal games, and Andy McDonald was a star in every single game.
Trying to give you a little trouble.
No.
I'm sorry, Darren.
That's all right, Dan.
You're a tough guy to get along with.
Yeah, but you know what? I got in the locker room, and the first thing some of the guys said was, "Hey, we heard you on the panel last year. You picked us to win, and that was great."
So they were happy.
Yeah, they were excited.
They were happy. 0-2 here on John Smoltz. And once again, all the Blues games this season, 70+, with the majority of those in high definition, all on Fox Sports Midwest exclusively, except when they're on NBC or Versus, which is just a handful of times. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Smoltz. And a swing and a miss. Looking forward to it, Darren.
Dan, thank you. And I am looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
You bet. That's Darren Pang. You'll hear him all winter long on Fox Sports Midwest. It's 2-0 after 3. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Ted Lindley has struck out 3. John Smoltz has struck out 2. And it's 2-0 as we move to the top of the 4th.
Jack Powers resting comfortably in Barnes Hospital. We hope he gets well, gets out here and watches the Cardinals. Let's get him some runs.
Nice to visit with Darren Pang. Ground ball off the bat of Giovanni Soto. And away.
Looks like John's starting to settle in a little bit, and that's kind of what you expected, especially with a little extra time off, as he was not overly concerned by any means with a little shoulder tendonitis, but he knows his body well. But that first inning where he gave up 3 consecutive doubles led to their 2-0 lead, but since that time a single and a walk.
And it brings in Jeff Baker. Baker with a single first time up. That's taken his average to 300. 3 home runs and 18 driven in. And a strike at the knees. Folks are excited about Blues hockey. It's coming up early October, and again,
you got a nice lead tonight, right?
Yeah, 3-0 first intermission. Now 4-0 we hear.
That's why I said it again, because I'm way up on it.
On top of it, Al. I'm sure when you head over to the Ballpark Saloon, your fine establishment, folks are excited about baseball, but they're also talking about hockey as well.
Sure.
Lifted into center. 2 outs.
And the Cub fans are welcome there, and then maybe talking about the Blackhawks.
Yep. After the game, Cardinals Live is broadcast from the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place Casino. Watch player interviews and Tony La Russa. And tonight it'll be Jim Hayes and Rick Horton will break down the game. U.S. Cellular, Cardinals Live after the game. And it's right here on Fox Sports Midwest.
31 years of age is Bobby Scales, and his 4th organization, San Diego, Philadelphia, Boston, and now the Cubs. Good to see him rewarded for a fine year in AAA.
What a thrill it must be. And I know, Al, you played this game for 13 years in the big leagues and short stint in the minor leagues. But you see a guy that's been riding the buses, not making a ton of money, but finally lives out his dream. Everybody pulls for a guy like that.
Absolutely. Now, this is 3rd stint with a big club, and being rewarded tonight with a start after doing a tremendous job as a pinch hitter. 6 for 10 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs as a pinch hitter. That'll get your attention, won't it?
It sure will. Pitch count a little up there, and it's only in the 4th inning. It's now 70 on the night for Smoltz, so you wouldn't anticipate him going very deep.
And it's something that I think John, knowing John Smoltz, and he told me that he, as a starter, he doesn't even really consider you doing your job until you give at least 7 innings.
And a 2-1 pitch.
I believe that's a splitter right there.
He hasn't thrown a lot of fastballs tonight. Doesn't seem that way, does it?
No, and you would think that if his shoulder was aching a little bit with the tendonitis, the fastball usually is the easiest pitch on your arm. You know, you're torquing or doing something different when you throw that slider. And many times he's gotten underneath the pitch.
2-2 to Scales. You know, Ted Lilly, first batter that he saw tonight. Julio Lugo, 11 pitch at bat since then now, and Lugo will be due up first for the Cardinals. The rest, he's given up no hits, and he's thrown from the rest of those hitters 2 through 9, 33.
Yeah, it's, you know, once he got through Julio Lugo, and I know he was a little bit upset with Marty Foster, tonight's home plate umpire, talking about Ted Lilly in that first at bat. And another good inning for John Smoltz.
A strikeout for Smoltz, and that's his third tonight. Cubs go 1-2-3. Bottom of the fourth rolls in. Top of the order for the Cardinals. Chevrolet as we go back to the at-bat by Lugo.
Well, Ted Lilly just trying to get ahead of him out there, trying to get rid of him. Throws a lot of fastballs, some cutters coming in on him, and, you know, changes speeds a little bit. There's a few pitches, and this may be one of them that he thought that he got squeezed a little bit. Those two right there, back away, missed the location. But a good at bat as Lugo continued to foul off pitch after pitch. And on the 12th pitch, he hits a line drive out to left, but a nice play by Scales. And the Cardinals are still looking for their first hit.
And so here we go. Lugo, Rasmus, and Pujols. Bottom of the fourth rolls in.
Change up right there, but elevated and got away with it.
Houston and Milwaukee tied up at 1. That's in the top of the fifth. Washington leads the Mets 5-2. Pittsburgh over San Diego 3-1. And there it is. Finally, the first base hit for the Cardinals tonight. Very casually, Paw Power over to get it.
Well, what was it, about the 15th pitch he's seen in his two at bats, and finally Lugo gets one to his liking and hit the ball out.
And this is our Exmo Camp presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, and they're located just 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway.
And he got the pitch up, out over the plate, and gets the first base hit. Let's see if the Cardinals can't keep it going. Hitting room on the right side is Lee holding on Lugo.
Well, you might remember in that first inning too, as this is bounced to Lee. Out there and safe at first as both Lilly and Derek Lee were at the bag. But I was about to say that first inning, the first 3 hitters, all, I don't want to say they're robbed, but very good defensive plays made by the Chicago Cubs. It wasn't like Lilly was fooling many in that first, but he settled in.
I gave a star for each one defensively as a couple line drives were caught in the outfield, and off of Rasmus's bat, you know, Derek Lee caught a hard hit ball and flipped to his pitcher covering.
Here's Pujols. First time up. Fly to center. And Fukudome The only way he makes that play in the first is to be playing as deep as he is now.
Right, playing extremely deep. He's about 3 steps from the warning track. Of course, this is where we saw Maben, the Marlins center fielder, playing that deep. And you know, Lou Piniella, this was before Holiday joined the ball club, and hitting behind Albert and providing protection, said that, you know, Albert's going to hit twice a game, and I'll walk him twice a game. And right now, with Holiday on deck, we've seen a lot of opposing managers cut down those intentional passes. Albert, one more RBI than Prince Fielder to lead the major leagues with 127.
And a 1-0 pitch to Pujols. Well, we've seen Lilly at times, that curveball will be around 66, 67 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was thinking that one was awfully slow at 72, and yet you're right, we've seen it like 66 miles an hour, and I thought that one, there's no way Albert could wait on it.
You see Pujols leading in RBIs and home runs in the National League. Another slow pitch, that one at 73. That takes guts to throw that pitch that slowly to a guy like Pujols.
Yes and no. You know, it does, but by the same token, you throw the fastball, and you know that provides a little bit of the power and distance. You throw it that slowly, it's, you know, usually a guy can't wait that much, and so he's out in front taking a little power out of the swing. But I think you and I both know that you're running the risk of Albert just sitting on that,
yes,
waiting back and crushing it.
Gets it out to left. Scales is there to make the catch. Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service, so go online to StubHub. It's the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals and the only site with Fan Protect guaranteed.
Nice letter from Lyle Terry of Carthage, Illinois. Been a Cardinal fan since the 30s. Seen a lot of baseball, and now in the nursing home where they provide the Cardinal telecast, and I hope everyone there is enjoying themselves.
2 outs and a runner at first. Holiday, first time up, struck out. Been swinging at more pitches last couple of games out of the zone than we saw early on.
No doubt about that, and just a little frustrated as he's had an uncharacteristic homestand, hitting below 230. Set up inside, look out. Doesn't get it there, but he got away with the pitch out over the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike on Holiday.
When you're in a groove, you know, that ball looks like a beach ball leaving the hand of a pitcher, and when you struggle a little bit, you just can't find the release point.
Matt Holliday, 27 career games against the Cubs. He's reached base in 26 of the 27. The 2-1 pitch. Instead of check on the runner at first. That's Rasmus. The Cubs, the month of August, really did them in as they went 11-17, and the Cardinals, outstanding month, 20-6. They picked up the deals with Holiday and DeRosa and Lugo and Smoltz and took off. The 2-1 pitch. Holiday hits it left side. Ramirez goes to second, and that's out. Whoa, was that close? Rasmus, and along with about 42,000 others, thought he was safe. The national game of the week. Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs take on Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. A showdown between bitter division rivals. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 Central, and it's only on Fox. Top of the 5th rolls in 2-0 Chicago. It'll be Ted Lilly, Ryan Theriot, and Kosuke Fukudome. 2 runs in this game, scored in the first. Fastball and a strike to Lilly as he sacrificed his first time up. Lilly pops it up left side. Brendan Ryan on the outfield grass. Under it, he's got it for the out. Nice to have our buddy Keith O'Brien back as he missed a couple of games. As he was on the mend, and back with us in our truck, Keith O'Brien.
Well, we knew that Tom and Mike would really make his rookie season a really tough one for him.
He was on the DL.
He was on the DL, traveling with those guys. They finally put the rookie to shame.
Little looper into shallow right. That's a base hit. So a base hit for Theriot, who had struck out the previous times after being no hit the day before. Cardinals pitcher Ray Washburn returns the favor. No hits the Giants 2-0. And it's our this date in baseball history, brought to you by Schnucks.
Well, the first game when the Cardinals were shut out was just happened to be the day after they clinched the, what was it, the division back then, or pennant. Pennant back then. So I think it was 68 when there was just, that was the difference now that, you have to win 11 games to the World Series. Back then you had to win 4. And most people would tell you that first round, 3 out of 5 is the most difficult once you start feeling like you've accomplished something after you get through that area.
Last no-hitter for the Cardinals was Bud Smith. Before that, Jose Jimenez.
He did that game in Arizona.
It was Arizona, Randy
Johnson. Yeah.
Theriot bluffed to second. And this is Fukudome, who was walked and also doubled and scored back in the first.
Let me ask you a question, Dan, because it just seems like so many of the Japanese hitters that we watch, they almost appear, and most of them seem to be left-handed, but they almost appear like they're falling out of the batter's box, almost like they're running, and their bat just kind of, if you throw the ball inside, you catch the plane of the bat. Well, if you're going to go inside, in my mind, you got to go way inside.
Yep.
Go inside off the plate, and let them. The first step is almost towards the first base bag, not back towards the pitcher.
And then if you try to go outside, are you doing them a favor where they just can flip the wrist, so to speak?
Well, that's why you got to go inside enough so they don't reach out over the plate.
3-0 on Fukudome, and you've got Derek Lee on deck, so it's a little bit interesting here in the 5th inning for John Smoltz. Pitch count at 79. So Taguchi back in the major leagues and now wearing a Cubs uniform.
And this guy recalled, I think it was yesterday.
3-1. The best player that we've seen undoubtedly come over from Japan, Ichiro Suzuki. And he is good in all facets of the game. Defense, throwing, he can run, he can hit. Tremendous player. Runner goes on a 3-1 pitch, and it's a foul ball. How well did you know Johnny Bench, Al?
Well, put it this way: is we watch this one, and you see, he never got his hand out there. Went off the glove, but sometimes that bare hand. Johnny kind of invented
He was really the first one.
Literally the first one. Tuck his hand back behind his back so you don't get those foul tips.
Here's a ground ball. They start the runner, and out. going at second base. What a play by Brendan Ryan on a tough feed there from Lugo.
That is an amazing play by Brendan Ryan. You talk about having good hands, and Lou Piniella is going to somehow get out there, and we might put a clock on him. But I think that they got him out there, and the fans are going to boo as Lou's trying to generate something. But what a tough feed from Lugo. Runners going on this ball, bounce over, Lugo gets it, and then he flips it from the glove, and it's a hard toss and right into the face. You get a better look right here, and there you see
it's not a bobble. I'd wonder if his foot was still on the bag.
Well, we'll see from this angle right here, and he's out.
Yes,
he's out. It just, the slide, Terrio, instead of sliding to the bag, slid to the outside, and you know, the back leg, the tucked leg, is the one that touched the base.
We should mention too the previous call at second base with Colby Rasmus. Many thought that he was safe on that play. Replay showed, we looked at it during the break, he was out. That's hit out to left, Holiday over, and the correct call was made. So it'll be Ludwig, DeRosa, and Molina. Smoltz through 5, and it's 2-0 Chicago. Is one of the adoptable pets from Purina Pro Plan and PetSmart Charities. PetSmart Charities adoption centers are available 7 days a week in every PetSmart store. Find out more at PetSmartCharities.org. Ladies and gentlemen, Hank. Two to nothing. Bottom of the 5th rolls in. And Ludwig on the first pitch taps it foul. Brian Ludwig fly to right first time up. Ludwig, DeRosa, and Molina for the Cardinals as they trail 2-0. Ted Lilly, first 4 innings, has allowed just 1 base hit. It was off the bat of Julio Lugo, who's had the best at bats tonight against Lilly. First time up, a 12-pitch at bat. Second time, a base hit to right. The 0-1. Nothing at 2 the count. That plate umpire talking it over with Ludwig right before the at bat.
He's trying to speed up something. He's not going like this, but
that's a base hit on an 0-2 mistake. Second Cardinal hit.
Saw Soto set up like he wanted to go up the ladder there, but the ball was in the middle of the plate and a little lower than where Soto wanted it, and a good rip.
You might remember first at bat with Ludwig, he was a little upset on one of the calls, so that very well could have been the conversation with the home plate umpire. And here's DeRosa, who is flied out to right. Mark DeRosa was one of the guys that was surprised to be moved out of Chicago. Talking with some of the Chicago folks, they said after their loss in the playoffs last year, he was devastated. Big part of that team. And then traded in the offseason. DeRosa pulls it fair. Down the third base line. Ludwig on his way to third base. He gets away from the left fielder Scales. Ludwig will score. And DeRosa will wind up at third.
Beyond our sidelines, we really could not see what happened out in the corner, but apparently they're going to give a triple as Scales got a little too close to the wall. As you watch the ball go down here, see, he didn't totally miss the carom as he's hugging the wall, and it got by him. So Ludwig has a play right in front of him. He's going to come all the way around and score from first. He didn't need any help there, and more importantly, DeRosa gets a triple, an RBI, and the Cardinals are one fly ball, one hit, one whatever from tying this game.
RBI number 21 for DeRosa. You know that has a little extra special meaning for him.
And right now they're warming up in the bullpen. So if this scoring opportunity continues, they will pinch hit for Smoltz.
Infield in. Molina, ground ball hit to short. DeRosa has to stay put. That's the first out. Molina upset with himself, obviously. One out. Showed you one of the ways that the Cardinals beat Chicago in the pregame show. You might remember that with David Eckstein and the squeeze. It's something that you think about here.
I think you got to give Brendan Ryan credit and let him swing away. You got the pitcher spot on deck. You know, Brendan is early in the season. We talked about his lack of RBIs, but now he's up to 31, and he's hitting just a shade under 290, 289. So let him have the confidence in him that he's going to drive it in the run. And he needs a fly ball.
Time called by Brendan.
Sometimes you know hold the ball as a pitcher and see if that hitter gives something away. We talked about it a couple days ago. You know how aggressive Tony was with the squeeze play, but since that time he's established in other managers' minds, but he has not done it much.
Strike two. Good pitch.
And if you're a pitcher, that's one of the keys and one of the big ways how to combat is get ahead and throw two quick strikes. Still got to believe. You cut the lead in half, and you still have to believe that Ryan is going to get the job done. If he doesn't get it done, Hawkworth will be ready, but would you pinch hit Smoltz with 2 outs? Now Lilly is the kind of pitcher that you don't mind, or you would think about doing the squeeze, because he throws so many strikes. He's not erratic in the strike zone.
1-2. Lefty on the mound is back to that runner at third. Another little factor that you think about too. Brendan Ryan, a high fly ball out to left.
Deep enough.
Scales over near the line, makes the catch. DeRosa scores easily. Brand new game. It's 2-2. Nice job by Brendan Ryan.
I think it's so important to send a message to Brendan Ryan that you have confidence in him that he will drive that run in. You don't always want to just sit there and say, you can't do something. And he gets the job done. All you need is a 300-foot fly ball. Scales is kind of a utility guy, can play a lot of infield positions, so he doesn't have a strong arm at all. And there was no way he was going to get him anyway, but I was surprised at how weak the arm was.
Sure, in a way, it's a relief for John Smoltz. He wants to stay in this game, too.
That's right. I mean, John most definitely wants to stay in this ball game. And if he doesn't, if Brendan doesn't get the job done, then he really has nobody to blame but himself for getting knocked out.
0-2, so the RBI for Brendan Ryan, and that's his 32nd this year. Remember at the beginning of the year, all the missed opportunities it seemed like for Brendan?
That's what I'm talking about. But now it's up to 32 RBIs, and it seemed like he was sitting around 10 or 11 for a long time.
Smoltz is frozen. Lilly struck out 4, and after 5, it's 2-2 here at Busch Stadium. On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Powerful, lightweight, dependable, versatile. Yard care solutions start at steeldealers.com. That's Al Hrabosky there on the left, and of course Lou's wife, and Lou Brock, a gentleman on the right, Ernie Broglio. One of the great trades in Cardinals history and one of the most famous trades ever in baseball history, and those two are together. Brock and Broglio. Isn't that something?
And Dan, when that trade was made, he said the phone lights lit up at KMOX like it has never happened before, and everyone criticizing the trade. Absolutely criticizing Brock, who, Broglio was a big winner, a former 20-game winner, and traded for really a young man. Only about Lou had probably less than a full year in the big leagues, and he just but Broglio really had some arm problems after that. Really wasn't the pitcher he was with the Cardinals, and the rest is history about the Hall of Famer Lou Brock.
And this is Aramis Ramirez, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I visited with both Lou Brock and Ernie Broglio this morning, and very neat story. He came back in for Lou's 70th birthday gala, which was last night. Lou's golf tournament is tomorrow, or Monday night, rather Monday, and the gala initially was Sunday night, but they pushed it up because of the Sunday night baseball game. So they had it at the Coronado last night, and Ernie Broglio was telling me that he received such a warm reception from the St. Louis crowd. He said it was so touching for him to come back to St. Louis and to have that kind of reception. And he said the best part was, in many ways, they went over his numbers. And he said, whenever a big trade happens in Major League Baseball, he said, I know what's going on because my phone starts to ring and they want to get my comments. He said last night they talked about 21 seasons and all the different numbers that he had put together, and he was really touched by it. He's now 74. His son, by the way, is a professional surfer, and Ernie lives out in the Bay Area.
And I'd met Ernie before, and I was talking with him and said, well, when did we meet? And he said, when your hair was black.
3-2 pitch. And Ramirez hits it in the air. It's popped up. Long way to go for the right fielder. That's Ludwig, and it's out of play. Really a classy gentleman. And he was also telling me, he said, Dan, you wouldn't believe it. He said, guys back in the late 50s, early 60s, it's when I pitched. We pitched. Guys went 8-9 innings. One season, 18 cortisone shots.
Yes.
18. I said, how does your shoulder feel now? He says, feels awful. It still hurts.
or I can't feel anything. Right. Nothing's left in there. But
isn't that amazing, though?
Well, and I told you, Bob Gibson's final year, and Bob's here at the ballpark tonight too. But he had a cortisone shot almost every day before he pitched, in his knee.
Cardinal fans, you can join the team in sunny Florida, spring training 010. Number to call 800-892-7687 for more information.
Second walk here tonight, only his third since John Smoltz has arrived with the Cardinals. And this is his fifth start, and has only walked 3 in what has 32 strikeouts against those 3 walks.
What a great shot that was we just had, though. Broglio and Brock together after all these years. Ernie is 74, and Lou, as we mentioned, just turned 70.
Well, see, that's the funny thing is, you would think that Ernie would be that much older because he was a veteran, established pitcher. That gives you an idea that that you didn't get to the big leagues when you're real young.
And here comes an 0-1 pitch to Hoffbauer.
Lou was on the other side. He did get to the big leagues at a relatively young age, and I remember talking with Lou prior to that trade, and I don't know if it was 63 or 62, 63, whenever it was, that they had the Academy of Coaches had 7 different guys that would rotate managing the Cubs.
Center, and that catch made by Rasmus, and there's one away. Jim Edmonds is with us up here in the booth.
We got another visitor in the booth, and if maybe Jimmy going to be kind enough to talk to us with Landon. Landon's my buddy.
Put those on, Jimmy. So 1 out, and here is Giovanni Soto. A couple of former teams of Jim Edmonds. What's it like to be now watching this and not playing?
It's great, actually. No pressure. That's awesome.
How you been?
I'm doing good. I got my son here, and family's in town, and just came out to a ball game with Mr. Clinton.
And Jim's got a little 2-year anniversary tomorrow night at his restaurant.
Yeah, actually, that's not why I'm here, but
might as well get it in.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks, Al. We got we have a dinner tomorrow night. It's we were going to throw a big party, but we weren't really prepared for it, so we're having a nice big dinner. We've got a lot of people coming, and anybody who wants to come, feel free to come down and after the game tomorrow and throw a little celebration. There'll be some guys from the red team and the guys from the blue team, and it'll be fun.
You don't miss this?
No.
Come on.
He's really Mr. Dad now.
Yeah.
You see him at home.
I'm trying to be, man. I'm trying to be. It's tough. I'm sure it's tough on my wife because I'm always home and in her face. So, I'm trying to enjoy myself the best I can.
And Landon, you're almost 4, right?
He's going to be 4 in February.
Right, in February. And then Sutton?
She was about 8.5 months.
Now, Jimmy, what was it like when you came back first time with Chicago to play the Cardinals here at Busch Stadium.
And we want to keep him happy.
He will be.
You know what? It was. I was pretty nervous. I was really nervous. This was home. This is home for me, obviously, and it was a tough situation. I never wanted to be put in that situation, but baseball's a crazy game, and I enjoyed Chicago the year I was there, but it was definitely nerve-wracking to come here and play in front of the fans again.
And Jim, you know that Tony's always looking for an edge, but I thought in that case, you know, it really wasn't proper for him to get on you.
Well,
that's a little base hit.
That's just the way it is. I mean, it's a game inside a game. And,
well,
I respect the game, and I would just keep it with that.
And remind people was when Jim first was traded to San Diego, then went to the Cubs, and of course the media all jumped on him. Well, you know, what about your Cardinal days? And basically, you know, Jim sat there and said, hey, you know, I'm a Cub now. And Tony took that and said, well, he doesn't want to be remembered. He don't want to be remembered as a Cardinal, so let's don't remember him.
Well, this is a famous home run.
Yeah,
you never get sick of watching this.
No, that's fun. I enjoy those days. I enjoy every day I played here. I still enjoy it. I mean, I haven't been back for a couple months, and it brings back so many memories. It's just, it's great to be here and enjoy the city again.
Well, I'm assuming you had offers during the off season to come out and play, if not during the season, correct?
I had both. They weren't very good offers, and you know, I talked it over with my wife, and we just weren't very comfortable with what we had in front of us. You know, I didn't want to go to the East Coast, and I didn't want to sit on the bench and play part-time. I thought that I could, you know, still play every day, and I'm probably in better shape now than I was at the end of last year, and still could play now, but it just wasn't right for me, and the family was getting important, and I know my wife was getting tired of me being gone, so I tried to make the best decision I could. I'd still like to play, but all the stuff that goes along with the game, other than the game itself, was pulling on me pretty hard.
Do you miss the 1st and the 15th?
No, I don't need to.
Those are big check days for guys.
Yeah, they were. I'm doing all right, actually. Thanks to my agent, we got a little deferral plan going with the Cardinals, so we're doing all right for the next 10 years. But you know, I miss the game. I miss the grass. I miss the people. I miss, especially watching some of the guys that play in this game, in this era. I know I can play, and but that's what I miss. I don't miss the traveling and the being away from the family.
When you first came over, what stood out about being a Cardinal? And then you obviously made it your home, but what was it like? What stood out for you in your time here?
You know what? It's home in every sense of the word when you play here, because the people are so friendly and they make you feel so welcome. And the organization did such a tremendous job of welcoming me here and making you really feel like you're welcomed and you're comfortable, and they make you feel like you're wanted. And that was a great feeling coming from the atmosphere that I was in. And they've turned it around in Anaheim now. And it's like that there now, but this was something new for me, and just the Midwest was just a perfect fit for me, and I love the style of baseball, and what you know this organization did for me was second to none.
Jim Edmonds, how about as we take a look at this catch of the Angels? Is this the best catch you ever made?
That's a pretty good one. I've made a lot of a lot of memorable catches in this uniform here, and I think that one's been so long that it's
what about Ausmus?
Yeah, I think that one always sticks out now. The Cardinal days are so fresh in my memory that they kind of stick out a little bit more than that Anaheim catch. But you know, it is what it is. I enjoyed my days and wouldn't take it back for nothing.
Here it is right here, the catch that may have saved the series. When you go back and think about that play from number 15, Jim Edmonds. You know, your numbers, it's not far-fetched to say this, you're not that far away from having numbers that stack up with other Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
I know that's been brought up to you before.
Yeah, my agent was on me a little bit about that, but I never played the game for that. I never thought I'd be good enough to get to where I'm at, or where I was at in, you know, past 3 or 4 years. So it started weighing on me a little bit. I kind of wanted to play to get to 400, but the opportunity didn't really arise for me to go out there and play, so I just kind of went home and picked up golf.
Ted Lilly is the hitter. No balls and 1 strike with 2 outs and the bases loaded here for the Chicago Cubs. It's 2-2. Jim Edmonds is with us.
There is a game going on, right?
No, we're going to show you something though that also stands out.
I don't want to interrupt.
No, let's go back to this night in Cincinnati. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, those are the ones I remember the most, especially because of the situation. Couple of back-to-back days, and
Now, Jason LaRue is part of the Cardinals, so he would welcome you to wear that uniform.
You know, he used to tell me all the time, I can't wait to play with you one day because you'll get a couple extra hits every year. He seemed like he'd hit line drives at me all day long every time we played against him. So we used to talk about it all the time.
How about competing against a guy like John Smoltz?
It was tough. He's a fierce competitor. I'm impressed that he's out there right now at his age and he's still doing a good job. And his drive and his work ethic is unbelievable. So I'm hoping he comes out here and pitches well and pitches into the postseason.
Ground ball for Albert. Steps on the bag. Some of the great highlights from Jim Edmonds, who is with us here in the booth. It's 2-2 midway through 6. And it'll concern our buddy in the booth here. How many Gold Gloves did Jim Edmonds win in his career? How many Gold Gloves did Edmonds win in his career? Aflac trivia question. Aflac! 8, and 6 of the 8 with the Cardinals. Edmonds, 16 seasons, over 1,900 games, 284 average, close to 400 home runs, and 8 Gold Gloves, and played on a World Series team back in '06. Hold on, Jimmy. A couple more questions before I let you go.
Come here, Landon.
I know he does, but I got a couple more questions for you.
All right.
How would you compare the '04 team to this team, lineup-wise in particular?
I wish I could compare. I can't lie. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball.
But you do watch some of the Cardinal games.
You know what? I probably watched 5 games all year.
Really?
And I've been to 3 of them. So I'll pick it up and watch an inning here and there. We got rid of the baseball package and haven't seen a lot. I mean, I see the names on the scoreboard and I know the guys and I think it's a pretty talented team. But you said '04 or
Yes.
'06? I thought '04 was our best team.
And that's why I brought it out.
Yeah, and we just came up short. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like I said, we had the best team in '04, and probably in 2000, I thought we had a really good team, and we came up short. So you still got to play, but they're talented and they're playing pretty well. I know that they haven't played well lately because I've talked to some coaches, but they got a good lineup. I hope that they put it back together and turn it up for the last month of the season, or the last half of the season, in October. Whatever.
So you're playing golf with McGuire a little bit here and there?
I haven't got a chance to play too much with him, but we see him every now and then, and we he's doing great. He watches, and he might be watching right now because the last time Allison was at the game, he was texting me, "Where are you? What are you doing?" Your wife's at the baseball game, so yeah, he's still watching. I know he follows some of the guys, and he enjoys the game and he enjoys teaching, and he does a pretty good job of doing that too.
Now this is my final question for you. Pujols is coming up, due up third. You played with him for a number of years. Best player you've ever played with?
By far. By far, he's. And the worst part about it is I hit after him most of the time, and every time I walked to the plate, the catcher was shaking his head. So I got a really good view of all the things he does and did, and he's very special. He's as good as they get.
How many RBIs did he take away from you?
Oh God. I used to joke about that. I was like, okay, so you cleared the bases and now you're standing on first, or you hit a home run. So what am I supposed to do? You know, so.
Hit by that pitch. You got to go see Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse. You know, I did want to add one thing. I thought it was funny watching this right here, the situation. I can't believe that the respect in the Cubs clubhouse that they have for this organization compared to what I saw in here. It was amazing to go over there and they turn on the game and they watch the Cardinals, and it was like a totally different atmosphere, and I was pretty impressed with them. And that's one thing that blew me away there. Was that organization was pretty classy, and I was always a little weary of going over there, and they really do a good job, and the guys on the field are class acts, and I was pretty impressed.
Now that's interesting because I remember Zambrano hitting you and then taking him deep.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? He might apologize to me 152 times, right? Over the next 4 or 5 months. So ended up being a really nice guy. Gets a little emotional on the field, but off the field he's a great guy, and just like most of the guys you see on the field.
Lugo faking to second.
Are we going to see Mickey now?
One quick question.
I got to go see Mickey Mouse.
You know, Tony La Russa and Lou Piniella have been really close friends, childhood friends. Two distinct personalities, managing, two distinct personalities playing. But what's it like? How would you compare their similarities and their differences?
Well, Tony's really hands-on, and he's very available for the players. And then Lou is more old school, more kind of just he manages the game, and then he kind of lets the players kind of be by themselves, and he kind of standoffish a little bit. Not in a bad way. Just when I remember when I was a young player, you would never see the manager. And you really didn't see Lou too much. He didn't really have much to say if the game wasn't being played. And you see Tony around a lot. He's in your face. He's talking to you. He's making sure you're having a good day. And he kind of wants to know about how your family's doing and all that. And Lou's old school. Lou's just no nonsense. Just play baseball, play hard, and then go home and have a good night.
Difference between a guy that spent most of his career on the bench and a guy that played every day.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know too much about that, but definitely different personalities for sure. I mean, Lou's intense. I mean, Tony's intense and he's friendly intense. Lou's intense, and yeah, definitely a different experience. But it was fun, both sides.
Great seeing you.
Thanks.
Good to see you,
Jimmy.
Landon wants to say hi to his mom. Oh, he did. All right. Landon says hi, Mommy.
Oh, Allison called?
Yeah, no, he was asking about her. Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. See you tomorrow.
You bet. That's Jim Edmonds. Always good to visit with him. So Rasmus, a pair of groundouts tonight. First time robbed by Lee, and the second time hit into a fielder's choice. No balls and 2 strikes, and Lugo the runner at first. We're in the 6th of a 2-2 game. And a swing and a miss, and it brings in Albert. Friday, October 2nd, Ozzie Smith bobblehead night at Busch Stadium. 25,000 fans will take home a bobblehead featuring Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, courtesy of Coca-Cola. For tickets, visit STLCardinals.com. What a great player Edmonds was here in St. Louis.
I'm telling you what, in Jimmy's prime, what he could do on a dime he was as talented. You could count on one hand as good a player as he was.
And Pujols looks at a ball. He is flied out to left, and they play him. I'll tell you what, I mean, I know we saw Maben with Florida play about this deep. I'm not sure he played this deep.
If Jim Edmonds were out there playing and his ability to go back on a ball, he'd be playing at least 50 feet in front of Fukudome.
I bet he'd be inside the arch almost.
Oh, he would definitely be, significantly in front of the arch. And Dan, just count how many times does a ball, and this is Jimmy's theory, but how many times does the ball go over your head and stay in the ballpark?
Right.
So Jim felt like it was more important to play shallow and take hits away. And you cannot see how he almost has to buy a seat out there in center field Most center fielders would play right at the top of the cutout, the arch. Jim would play in front of there and take away a lot of hits, save pitchers where it's safety playing that deep.
Here comes a 1-1 to Pujols. Albert, center field. Fukudome is back, and that'll stay in the ballpark. Just missed it.
See how deep he was playing. He took 1 or 2 steps backwards at the most.
And that's probably 2 hits he's taken away from Pujols by playing that deep.
And Albert hit that at center field. I think Albert knew he didn't have enough of it, and this crowd is disappointed. They're ready to explode, aren't they?
They sure are.
And Holiday could provide that explosion. And Holiday's another one that Mark McGwire worked with this offseason.
And they've got him picked off. A throw to second. Will go safe. He's in scoring position now with 2 outs.
First base is open now. They choose to pitch around Holiday. But Ludwig provides a lot of protection. That's a good lesson right there. Even here at the major league level. If you leave too soon, do not stop. Don't get in the rundown, because this is the big leagues. They're going to execute the rundown. You see our Hot Shots Exmo cam, and clearly safe ahead of the tag. I saw Willie Wilson when he was a rookie. He stole more bases that way because he was faster than, and here he goes again.
And he's standing up at third base.
You hit him? You hit him, he makes you pay, doesn't he?
There you go.
And now we're going to take off, as Lilly didn't pay any attention. Neither middle infielders paid any attention. And they're saying, hey, I got 2 strikes. I got 2 outs. So I'm going to work on the hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike on Holiday. Well, there is a buzz here at the ballpark, no doubt.
And you see there, Trammell's looking in there, and they're going, those middle infielders didn't pay any attention to him at second.
Holiday into center field. Fukudome makes the catch. And we have played 6 here at Busch Stadium. The Chicago Cubs 2 and the St. Louis Cardinals 2. Cardinals and the Cubs renewing their rivalry, and it's 2-2 as we move to the top of the 7th. The Cubs picked up a couple of runs in the first inning, but after that, the Cardinals were able to strike back against Ted Lilly. Cardinals picked up their 2 runs in the 5th. Mark DeRosa, the former Cub, with an RBI triple. And away we go. Kyle McClellan into the ballgame for St. Louis. And all of a sudden, what looked to be a shaky start for John Smoltz turns out to be a pretty good one. And it's our Chevy called to the bullpen.
And he goes 6 innings, so he turned it over to Kyle McClellan in a 2-2 tie. And whoa, tried to throw a breaking ball, and it didn't break. And Cherio does a good job to get out. 61st appearance, 4 wins and 7 decisions, 15 holds, ERA under 3, and opponents just hitting .228 against him.
1-1 pitch. It's another breaking ball that's up.
You know, Kyle has really done a good job in his sophomore season. There were times last year that he was just overused, and when he has his rest, he can be a force out there, and he really has become that 7th and 8th inning man in a close ball game or when the team has a lead. You know, one of the things we don't give Kyle enough credit, and it doesn't really apply right here, but Kyle has allowed just 8% of inherited runners to score, 2 of 26.
Look at that swing. The night for Ryan Terrios. He struck out now for the 3rd time.
Now Kyle will be the first one to tell you that he's walked too many for his strikeout to walk ratio, and he can get those strikeouts. He has very good stuff, and he has 4 above average pitches. And one of the things that is so valuable for him, where he can go multiple innings late, is his ability to get left-handers out.
And that's a breaking ball for a strike.
Breaking ball 0-2 at the feet of Fukudome.
Fukudome tonight has doubled and scored. He's walked and grounded into a fielder's choice.
Good pitch. Hard to sit there and wonder what guys are thinking when they take a fastball right down the chute. Obviously, he's guessing off-speed pitch, but Kyle has too good of stuff. If you're guessing off-speed, you can never catch up to his fastball. If you look fastball, you can make the adjustment possibly to the curveball, but the other way around, you're hopeless.
So Derek Lee, 2 outs, nobody on, 1 ball, no strikes. And Lee is flying to left. He's popped out to second and has an RBI double and a run scored. McClellan trying to strike out the side here in the top of the 7th. The 1-1 pitch.
Quick breaking ball, and where's the call? Has kind of fooled both the umpire and Derek Lee. And Derek Lee had to ask what the count was. He goes, "You mean I'm hitting 2-1 instead of 1-2?" As he thought for sure it was going to be a strike. And you see those devastating breaking balls, and then a 93-mile-an-hour fastball that's down. Derek Lee's become quite a hitter. And we've known that for a few years, but he's starting to pile up the years and have a very fine career.
2-2. Oh, he just missed, and Molina was headed to the dugout.
I mean, there's a breaking ball that he doesn't get a call. Then he has a pitch right on the corner, but it might have been a little bit of ball. It does a nice job of trying to frame it.
The 3-2 pitch to Lee. The breaking ball, and he strikes out the side. Great work by the St. Louis and Kyle McClellan in this Cubs-Cardinals rivalry. 3-game series, the Cardinals and the Cubs. It's 2-2. And Lilly back to work here in the bottom of the 7th. Ludwig, DeRosa, and Molina. First pitch at the knees. Ludwig base hit on an 0-2 pitch. First time up, he flied out to right. He's also scored a run this evening. And the 0-1. First pitch a little low. That pitch was up. It's not just side to side, in and out, but the good ones go up and down. Changing speeds, which Lilly is very good at doing. Curveball and goodbye. That catches the outside corner. And that's strikeout number 6. Let's take a look at our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance on this date in baseball. 1967, Cardinals clinched the pennant. 5-1 win over the Phillies. Bob Gibson throws a complete game. Cabot Woodstein, legendary performance, 1967.
It wasn't until 1969 before division play came in, and so you only had one winner for the entire league. And how about there, back in 1967, Cardinals had that big lead. They also had a big lead in 68.
Breaking ball and a strike, 0-2. DeRosa has tripled tonight. Has an RBI and also flied out to right. It was a line out that first time up back in the 2nd inning. 0-2 the count. A positive for Lou Piniella has been Carlos Marmol back into games this month. He's been very good.
He replaced their closer.
7 saves in September for Carlos, and only Francisco Cordero has more, 9 saves.
Other Cardinal fans are hoping that they don't see Carlos or give him an opportunity to blow a save.
One-two pitch. DeRosa stings it again to center field. With a lot of hard hit balls, but right at Kosuke Fukudome.
That's part of the art of pitching, is to, you know, especially when you get a guy hit a ball out to center field. You know, you leave a ball that's hittable, but they have to hit it to the deepest part of the field. And you know, we've seen this ballpark play extremely fair, and especially with these little, you know, cooler summer and now beginning of fall, the ball just not traveling as well, and so that's a good place to get a lot of outs.
2 outs and nobody on. Molina, ground ball towards short and a base hit. The go-ahead run is on as Molina picks up his first base hit tonight. One of the real key at bats this evening for the Cardinals. Brendan Ryan with 1 out and 2 strikes on him was able to get a fly ball to left to tie this game up at 2.
Fastball away and hits it up the middle and gets underneath the glove of Terrio. Brendan Ryan, as you said, got that big sac fly, ties the score 2-all. Now let's see if he can't drive him in. Be real tough to drive in Molina from first base with the ball not leaving the ballpark.
2 outs and a short lead at first. Brendan Ryan, a swing and a miss. Beautiful night here in St. Louis. The Cubs and the Cardinals this Friday night. Cardinals with a win can drop the magic number yet again. Kyle McClellan is at the on-deck circle right now, but if his spot would come up, certainly Tony would pinch hit, and a right-hander is getting loose in the bullpen. I believe that is Hawksworth out there. The second time that he's been up. You're going to get him up for the second time. Some managers would say I'm bringing him in regardless.
Yes, you know, there's a lot better care of relievers, but that's the case. You know, a lot of times 2 or 3 times at the most, if you get up there and you don't come into a game, you'll never get back up the 3rd or 4th time. And Greg, the former closer for the Cubs, warming up for Piniella.
1-2, fouled back. How about Smoltz? Rough early, but then settled in.
Well, it's not uncommon. You know, it almost sounds like a broken record, but you know, if you're going to get these guys, you got to get to them early before they really settle in and find that release point. But it's the old story of you know, allowing your team to be within striking distance, giving your team an opportunity to win. And let's face it, right now, there's, you know, if it's Wainwright or Carpenter or Pinheiro, these guys, we'd like to see them. But here's what happened back in the first inning. He had 3 consecutive doubles, and they scored their 2 runs. But after that, he shuts them down.
And it looked like 2 of the 3 were on fastballs, and then he went away from that fastball, so a lot of sliders. So the work there with Dave Duncan on the side.
Well, you saw right there that, you know, trying that he was almost arching his back. And 1, you get underneath your slider. 2, you know, you have no momentum going. It's like a hitter just, you know, dropping his back shoulder. And, you know, he's uppercutting. And that's the same thing. Instead of pitching downhill, you're almost pitching uphill. And you really don't have anything on. You don't have that end of your delivery, the finishing, where you get all your movement. But obviously he corrected it as time went along.
2-2 now on Brendan Ryan. This is popped up. Out of play. Pitch count at 99 for Lilly. Number 12 of the 17 in that first inning. The 1 batter, Julio Lugo.
It's pretty good when you. Not that he had a real quick inning, but he never had a real long or taxing inning.
2-2 pitch. Throws the bat at it, stays alive.
Good to see Brendan Ryan back in there. He missed a couple games with that little pinky that he jammed on his left hand. Sliding back into the bag. He's had a tender wrist ever since high school. What a breakout season for Brendan Ryan. I, for one, never saw this coming.
I don't think anybody did.
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody in the organization thought he was capable, but
it's completely changed, though, what John Mozeliak looks at in the offseason. He says my shortstop position is solid with this guy right here.
And that really is helpful. You know, I mean, unfortunately for Cleo Green, it just didn't work out. It seemed like that was a no-brainer and going to be an outstanding trade, but now you have a economical shortstop that frees up more money to sign the big boys.
And here comes a 3-2 pitch. Molina off with the pitch with 2 outs. Gets that running start. Now time is called. Oh, that is big too.
Yeah, I mean,
him going.
It's a difference of the possibility that Molina can score now on a base hit in the gap, where without the benefit of running on a 3-2 2-out pitch, there's no way.
There he goes, the 3-2 pitch. Lee over and runs out of room.
Obviously, Brendan got a lot of responsibility to extend this inning, and if he can, you know, the Cardinals at worst will have 2 runners on or the pinch hitter.
It's another good at bat. So you think about Lugo and Brendan Ryan here, and it's 23 pitches.
It could be the first and last batter for Lilly where his toughest.
3-2 again. Brendan Ryan lines out to short, and we have played 7 here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals strand a runner. Their 3rd of the night. 2-2. what's on tap. Our next game on Fox Sports Midwest will be Monday at 6:30. It's the Cardinals and the Astros, game one in all three games of that series, right here on Fox Sports Midwest. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So it's a second inning of work now for Kyle McClellan in a 2-2 ball game as we move to the eighth.
And Dan, this is one of those situations where you really don't know if you're going to be pinch hit for.
Ramirez pulls it foul.
That you got to be very careful that you didn't sit down and relax, assuming that you're only going to work the one inning. Now, one pitch can do you in a game like this. You're pitching in the eighth inning. It's tied 2-2.
This is the 30th sellout of the season as Ramirez looks back at McClellan. Ramos, it's a 2-2 game in the eighth. I don't think he's trying to put that tying run or the go-ahead run on.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right there. You got a home run hitter up there, so if you miss, you're going to go inside. You miss inside off the plate. It was a good pitch. It wasn't that he was trying to, hurt him or anything that way. He was just going to, if he missed, it was going to be inside.
Eric Stone is with us. There he is. First time he's been with us this season. Came all the way from Little Rock to join our crew. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Now a scenario where you do not want to run it full either.
Ooh, he just missed again.
I was going to say that this umpire, whether it's fair or not, and this looks like it is a ball, but both sides and pitchers have been a little unhappy at times, and that was a ball.
So a leadoff walk in Fox Sports. Busy around downtown St. Louis with some of the banners that they have put up.
Those are outstanding. That doesn't kind of tell this town is ready for what we hope is postseason, and led by Fox Sports Midwest. Aaron Miles has had a real tough season.
Well, he's hitting 181, and you would think he's up here to bunt.
It's very valuable and versatile for the Cardinals. He spent a couple stints on the disabled list, but not getting as much playing time as Tony presented to him, and it showed in his batting average. We're going to sit there and wait for him to call timeout, giving away something.
Miles was so good in St. Louis and offered a very nice contract by the Cubs. And looking at it from his perspective, the money that was involved, awfully tough to pass up.
And it was a multi-year contract, so I mean, there was no upset with the fact for what he did with the Cardinals that 3 consecutive years he was not given a contract and kind of had to sweat it out and then come back. And he wore the Cardinal uniform proudly. And boy, he was a productive player for St. Louis. But with the Cubs, as I said, he's been on the disabled list twice. In his last 41 major league games starting May 16th, he's 10 for 73 and 137 average and 181 on the year.
Gets the bunt down here. McClellan's only play to go to first. Fires a bullet. Lugo covering. So sack 1-4 on the play. And it brings comes in Soto. Just doing the little things, even when you're not hitting. Don't feel like you're contributing. I'm sure Miles has felt this has been a tough season for him. Gets the bunt down and puts potential go-ahead run in scoring position.
Well, Dan, kind of like what I was alluding to with Jim Edmonds, is Tony La Russa was a bench player. You know, he was many times was his 25th man when he did make a major league roster. So he understands what it's like to be sitting on that bench and always tries to get his guys to contribute. Lou Piniella was an everyday player. So Lou Piniella, the last person he ever thought about was those extra men. You know, he's just come up with a lineup and just run them out there day after day. That's what he's accustomed to.
Quickly, 2 strikes.
This ball club, you know, I mean, they've been injured. They've had their problems, but you know, sometimes, and the Cardinals have been guilty of it this past week, of taking batted bats. And here's another one.
Wow. 3 straight. McClellan gets his 4th strikeout.
And once again, a fastball, and they're sitting there looking for something else. Might have been a little cutter there, but I don't think it was, because it had movement to the outside. But you wouldn't set up inside on a cutter.
And Cardinals starting pitcher Kyle Loesch to your collection of oversized baseball cards. Cubs and Cardinals tomorrow, courtesy of Shelter Insurance. For more information, visit STLCardinals.com. So 2 outs and a runner at second base. What is turning out and shaping up to be a terrific little stint here put together by Kyle McClellan. He's still 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
And that's the key. You know, it's not done yet. And this is, in his mind, his last batter, make it a good outing.
Another curveball and a strike. The Cardinals are the pinch hitter, then Lugo and Rasmus in the bottom of the 8th. Anybody could reach, then Albert Pujols. Cubs got 2 in the 1st. The Cardinals with 2 of their own in the 5th. One and 2. What does he want to do here on Jeff Baker? Baker tonight, a couple of singles and also a fly out to center.
Baker now has to become defensive as you look at the Cardinals defense. Pretty much straight away, bunched maybe a little bit in the outfield and not very deep. Baker's done a nice job since coming over from the Rockies. Play first, third, right field. And second base, like he's playing tonight. I want to get together on this, and you know, one of the advantages, you don't even have to flash a sign in case you were even thought that second base Ramirez out at second base might be relaying the sign, but more importantly, you want to get together. They're ahead in the count, and Baker becomes defensive. He has to swing at anything close. There's a fastball trying to get him to chase, and he doesn't. Let's see if they talked about the whole sequence. And remember, a pitch like that, you're going to pop it up, swing through it, or if they make it. And
breaking ball pulled foul.
Yep. Left it on the inner part of the plate. breaking ball, you know, not getting it out away from him, and careful leaving it on the inner part of the plate. This game kind of is one that kind of, you think a home run's going to be the deciding factor, or kind of reminds you that so many games are, it's not necessarily the team wins it, but one of the team kind of loses it, gives it away.
2-2, little chopper up the middle. Ryan to his left, to first. He got it. Great work by Cal McClellan. Brought to you by Budweiser Select, full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. By Bank of America, Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Lock in $1.49 a gallon for a year's worth of gas. Visit your St. Louis Hyundai dealers today. And by Ameristar, more casino, more fun. Cole goes into center field. Fukudome goes into right field. And Ted Lilly still in this ball game. Interesting move here by Tony La Russa to pitch hit with Skip Schumacher against the lefty Lilly.
Well, you know, it's one of those situations leading off. Here's your leadoff hitter. You know, you don't have a lot of, you know, right-handed firepower. Gloss is still hurt a little bit. You got LaRue and you got Khalil Green. So I think you're going right now to say that you've got a tired pitcher out there, or tiring. He's thrown 103 pitches. You look for Schumacher, who's really been a hot hitter. He's had 4 consecutive multi-hit games this week.
So the first pitch to Skip. Slowly hit to short, little funny hop with the spin coming out the bat. And 1 pitch and 1 away.
See if Terrio didn't get that hop, and it takes 1 more, that might have taken an even trickier hop and got away from it. As gets jammed a little bit and got in front of it, makes a nice play, off balance throw, plenty of time to get Schumacher.
The Cardinals would win tonight. That would push Chicago to 10 games behind St. Louis. As Lugo lifts it in the air out to left center field. It's pretty well hit. Fold is back and makes the catch on the track.
Good play.
Now you look at how Sam Fuld is playing center field as opposed to Fukudome, and I realize it is Lugo, but Fukudome, even with guys like Lugo, is playing deep.
Much deeper, and there's an example of, we're talking about somebody playing in shallow, take a lot of hits away in front of them, and yet still have the ability to go back on a ball and right 1 step or 2 on the warning track and made it play easy. Getting back on the ball quickly.
Colby Rasmus looks at his strike, and this could be a very quick inning for Lilly. And as you said just moments ago, he was above 100 pitches coming into this inning.
106, and he's only made 3 pitches this inning, and he's got 2 outs. And this is a time when you really want a guy to work.
You talked about Troy Glaus as well. By the way, he's not been cleared for baseball activities. Tony La Russa saying before the game, a real big question mark right next to him. So, unavailable.
Well, and you know, it's the Cardinals with this lead, and I guess it does work for their favor eventually, but playing a little short-handed in September, and they really don't have, they only have 25 bodies if Troy Glaus is not. He was the only addition, and he's not available. So they're allowing Memphis to go out and try and win, and they're up 2-0 playing tonight for the Pacific Coast League Championship. And then I understand they have a playoff between the International League. I don't think it's a real long series. Maybe just one game, or is it? Yeah, it's just one game. So
Rasmus, little floater into shallow right center, drops in for a base hit.
Oh, and how big is that to bring up Pujols?
Yep, Albert comes in.
That is the play right there, Jim Edmonds. And there are times that Dave McKay and the Cardinals wanted Edmonds to play deeper, but he insisted on playing shallow, saying, I'll go back and get those balls, but I'll take how many of these little quails and flares away and help out my pitchers that way.
And as we saw in those highlights of Jim Edmonds, Lou Piniella, that slow walk from their dugout, but it didn't hurt him going back on a lot of balls either, because he was such a great judge of the ball off the bat when you talked about Edmonds.
Yeah, and a guy like Jimmy would just, you know, he just had that sixth sense of where the ball would be. So you just turn your back, you run to that spot where you think the ball would be, then turn around and look for it. And many times it falls in his glove. What are you going to do? You're going to make a pitching change?
Well, this has been his most trusted starter all year long.
And Kevin Gregg was his closer, but he's been relegated to the setup man, and now they make the call and they'll bring in Kevin Gregg.
This will be our Chevy call to the bullpen. Kevin Gregg, the former Marlins closer.
On the 5th hit.
Matt Holliday, 50 games. You see the at-bats, the hits, and the home runs. Pretty similar numbers between the two stars, Matt Holliday and Albert Pujols. And Pujols a chance now to put the Cardinals on top. Runner at first, 2-2 game. The Cardinals and the Cubs here in the bottom of the 8th. What a ball game, huh?
It's a good ball game, and you have the feeling that some more heroics are going to happen, and it could be off the bat of Albert Pujols. 0 for 3 tonight. See the season. He's second in the National League in hits. Tops in baseball with his 47 home runs, and same with his 127 RBIs. Interesting thing here is you know, if it was Marmol being the setup man, you don't hesitate to bring him in to face Albert, and a good matchup for both Tony and Lupinelli. But Greg has really struggled of late and really struggling on the road.
45,000 plus standing room only, and many of the folks on their feet. 71st appearance for Kevin Gray.
You can see he's blown 6 save opportunities. In 20 games since July, his ERA is over 8, and he's almost 8 in 33 road games. He did very well at home, but struggling on the road. And you can see how deep they are at all 3 outfield positions. Kobe Rasmus, great speed. He hit one in the gap, and he could score from first.
The 2-1. Pujols, a ground ball to short. First play at second. And we played 8 here at Busch Stadium. 2-2. Two-two game, top of the ninth, and the Cardinals closer is in. That's Ryan Franklin. Solid year for Franklin. Last time out, scoreless inning against the Marlins, and this will be his 58th appearance. 2-3 his record, ERA under 2. You see the opponents only hitting .204 against him. Ryan Franklin in to pitch this 9th inning for St. Louis. What a ball game, Chicago and St. Louis. On September 18th, this 09 season. The Scales, Greg Spot, and then Terrio.
Good work by McClellan. 2 innings. He walked a man, struck out 4.
And how about the job by Ted Lilly? 7 2/3, 5 hits, no walks, and 6 strikeouts.
Well, good pitching all along, and the Cardinals really, on this homestand, it's even more pronounced. Their lack of timely hitting and not scoring many runs. But they have pitched extremely well, and asking Franklin to do the same right here.
Scales hitting .242 this year. That's fouled back, 0-2. He has been intentionally walked that loaded him up. Where Ted Lilly had the bases loaded. And there's been a strikeout for Scales and also flied out to left. Skip Schumacher has stayed in the ballgame. He's at second base. Jake Fox is on deck. So here you have the Cubs and the Cardinals late this season. 2-2 game, and Skip Schumacher is at second base.
I think there's no doubt about it. He's a better second baseman than Lugo.
1-2 pitch. Check swing and a foul ball.
I think the goal is to give Franklin rest, but not too much rest. And I think his last blown save, which was a week ago tomorrow, was when he had 5 days rest, and that was too much against Atlanta. So trying to find a happy medium with your closer.
Last 7 days, he had 29 on Saturday, 11 Wednesday.
See a lot of days in between.
2-2. Cardinals wrap up the homestand this weekend. Next week,
Aaron Heidelman
be in Houston on Monday, and then Colorado and Cincinnati.
Heidelman is warming up for the Cubs, and Cardinals have had some success at his expense, including Molina.
2-2. Got him.
Nope.
Oh my goodness. Where is that pitch? You got to be kidding me.
Like it was down and in, but take a look at it here, and now I disagree. It's right there. So that is some of the frustration that both sides have seen with Marty Foster.
3-2, and now he gets it.
93-mile-an-hour fastball, and just throws it right by him.
So first strikeout for Franklin, first man retired. Jake Fox will be the pinch hitter. 1 out and nobody on. We'll lean out to visit Fox here, and then we'll see the top of their lineup in Ryan Theriot.
Fox is a pinch hitter this year, is 5 for 22, 227. And one of the things that I've seen a little disturbing is that Ryan Franklin has let certain calls get to him. He's even admitted it. And Yachty out there trying to calm him down a little bit. And sometimes, you know, umpires are human. They miss calls, and sometimes they will admit it. And if say Foster told Yachty he missed it, goes out and told Ryan Franklin, the only thing you can say is, well, bear down. But you know, you appreciate someone's honesty. But in a 2-2 game, it's not quite the time to miss one for either side. This is a pretty good hitter. Fox, 283, 10 home runs, 39 RBIs. He's hitting .237 in his last 23 games, .293 against right-handed pitching.
1-1 pitch. A strike, 1-2.
Boy, it's just how many fastballs have we seen Cub hitters take tonight? Especially when you go up as a pinch hitter, you just, you know, if you take 3 swings, no one's going to say a word. But when you give up a couple swings and take fastballs, you're just asking for it. Here's a splitter.
Got him.
Ahead in the count. This is a good pitch. Look where he starts out there. The bottom falls out of it. Not even calling for the dirt, but just make sure you get that ball down. A pitch like that starts around the belt, and you know, then you know the bottom's going to fall out of it. If it starts up around the chest, it becomes an extremely hittable pitch.
Ryan Theriot, he struck out 3 times tonight. Puts that one out of play. He's also singled. That was back in the 5th.
There are no tickets available. Well, there's the 550 tickets available for the next 2 days, but I'll let you know a secret. They're standing room only.
1 ball, 1 strike.
As you can look at this crowd here tonight, it was the same, and there are people standing all over the place.
There's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Go ahead, run is on.
Marmol has gotten up now to in case they take a lead, and Heidelman will pitch if it stays tied.
Kosuke Fukudome 1 for 3, double, walk, a run scored. So there's a look at the 2 righties getting loose. Fukudome has doubled, walked, hit into a fielder's choice, and struck out looking.
Like another pretty good off-speed pitch that not called a strike.
And a 1-0 instead of check. Oh, here's Tatum. It's quick feet of Franklin almost picked off Terrio.
And he really does have quick feet. It makes it very difficult for him to steal. Albert trying to use his feet to get over in position and make that swipe tag, and Terrio did get underneath it.
Two balls and no strikes.
Got him
That
this
time
time.
he got it. He picked him off. First time was so close. That time he got him. Holiday, Ludwig, and the former Cub DeRosa all coming up with a chance to win it. We'll talk about him. He settles in. Tony TV, you'll see his post-game press conference. And Jim Hayes, as well as Ricky Horton, live at Lumiere. And Matt Holliday will lead it off for the Cardinals. It'll be Holliday, Ludwig, and DeRosa. Aaron Heilman would be the new pitcher. The former Met, who's now with the Cubs. We saw him in the 2006 playoffs with the Mets.
Yachty, who is due up fourth, and if you get there after Holiday, he's the one that hit the home run off of Heidelman. And Heidelman has actually pitched better on the road than at home. He's held opponents scoreless in 21 of his last 30 games. But one of the big factors right here, especially going in the ninth inning, a tie game, is first batter efficiency. He's retired 38 of 63. So not as good as you would like when you're in a tie game. Like Graybo, a lefty, is warming up behind Heidelman.
First pitch to Matt Holliday. A strike.
Oh, man.
He spins away. This is a Hardy's prime cut of the game. Mark DeRosa with his triple against his former team, and that's the Hardy's prime cut of the game.
Right, and just terrible call as the ball appeared to be low and outside, called a strike.
0-1 pitch.
It was a little better than that, but you can hear the crowd getting on the first call.
45,000 plus here tonight. Here's a 1-1 pitch. You've got to think about Terrio getting picked off and the momentum that carries over into the bottom half of this ninth inning. That just cannot happen. Doesn't matter if it's April or this late in the season.
Yeah, he was running on the pitch, but you still have to make sure that he goes home before you can take off and get picked off in that scenario. That's what I'm saying, Dan. It's more of a question of some team losing it. Terrio contributing to it, and Heidelman is about ready to walk, or he must throw a fat pitch to an exceptional hitter in Holliday.
The 3-1 pitch on its way. Holliday lifts it out to deep right field, and this is gone. It gets over the wall. Welcome to the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry. Matt Holliday, a line drive, walk-off homer.
Pitch. He's going to throw a pitch, and Holliday has that good power to all fields. Just a laser shot. Question was, would it get up? It's over the head, the right fielder, and you can see the first reaction was the bullpen, and the second one is the dugout.